JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. Friday, November 14th, 9:18 on this fine morning talk. Quick about the market, some names and looking at go from there. S&P futures in the red again. Continuation from yesterday's sell-off. Nasdaq down over 1.37%. S&P down nearly 1%. Uh, Nothing changed, right? I mean, there's no major headlines this morning that just you could rationalize move. Yesterday, I kind of put it on the watch list, right? There's just a couple main themes, and these themes, it's not like they just popped up yesterday, but first is the possibility that the Fed doesn't cut rates come at the December meeting. I think it's less than a 50% probability. Then you have talk, obviously, about this AI bubble, right? And I mean, that's been there for quite some time. And hang on a second. And just these headlines have been there, so it's like, I mean, nothing's really changed. We could have been up 1% yesterday, and there'd be three different headlines rationalizing the move up. Hey, all these AI deals, they're breaking ground. These sites are breaking ground on the Stargate deals, and so of course, what happens when we do have the big sell-off yesterday, and yesterday was similar to last Thursday, right? We sold off last Thursday 1%, came into that the next Friday, hit that 50-day moving average, and then bounced. So hopefully we have a similar setup here today. But what happens with every sell-off is that out comes the doom and gloomers, and I mean they've been there, right? And if you're doom and glooming since April Liberation Day, you're down quite a bit, right? And at some point there'll be a pull, and you make money, right? But that's when the doom and gloomers coming out saying, "I told you so." But of course, what happens now? They come out with the credit default swaps on Oracle, right? And you look at Oracle. I was playing those puts back in September after its earnings, then played the calls after its AI event or analyst day, and then it's been in a bleed ever since. And here it is, the big canary in the coal mine. That's the big thing this morning. Obviously, Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin down 6-month lows. You make the case there. And then there's other articles that just crop their head up. You just read it. It's like nothing spun positive. You look at the market watch. So it's tough. Very easy to get into this, load the boat on puts and pray for financial Armageddon so you can just bank money. I'm not saying, can't rule out some crazy pulls here at the open, but if that's the mindset you have, you're more than likely probably going to get squashed in some kind of bounce, right? So, what was another article I read about amplification, right? The huge amplification. We have these 3 and 5 time ETFs that are exploding in popularity, the hoods, right? I mean, back in the day, you used to trade these 3 time ETFs and it'd be on the NASDAQ. So you're on a basket, an index, right? Now you can do a 3 time, 5 time ETF on an individual name, right? So, I mean, so there's talks about this amplification because all these 3 time ETFs and 5 times ETFs rebalance at the end of the day. And that's, when I talk about dust and some of these ETFs that I'm in, you get bleed, you get some erosion at the end of the day, just as a function of the rebalancing. It's just a game you play. So if you're trying to play these ETFs for long-term holds, you're going to lose down the line. Just if markets don't go substantially in your favor, you lose over time. It's just erosion. It's like a drip, right? It's like water dripping out of a faucet. So that's the big buzzword, amplification. So, you read into all this and maybe we bounce here today and then we're back to normal. Or is this the start of a larger pull, bear market correction? I continue to be open to both sides, right? I'm not going to sit here and have conviction that this is it. I'm going to buy the dip. So like I've been doing, using support resistance to be my guide along with other things and continue to trade the market. So watching this morning, obviously 679 was the big spot. We broke through that yesterday. Then 673. And then now we have to worry about that 50-day moving average, 667.62. The ideal scenario here, maybe, I mean, probably the rough way, we get a drop, get through that 661, get it under that 50-day moving average, which we are right now, and then a bounce, right? And then if we get that, maybe I could say, okay, that's it. That would be the ideal scenario. Maybe we bounce here into the open. I want to rule that either. But I'll be open to both sides today. The issue is the premiums are really expensive. So the good thing it's a Friday, so it leaves opportunity for weekly strikes. So that's kind of what you're watching. If things change during the day, I'll be in audio, some fluid stuff. The good thing here too is yields are going up, right? So they always talk about these risk-off trades environment, and to see yields go up as opposed to what happened during the Liberation Day, where yields were going up and markets were selling off. That was not the scenario you want. So always try to have good grain of, positive, half glass full scenarios. And then also the VIX, which, it is elevated over 20, but it's 21 here. It's up 10% here. 22, up 10% in the morning. All right, so that's overall market. Just quick on individual names. I mean, SanDisk come to save the day for the second week in a row. I was saying on the Rant yesterday afternoon, I made over 1,000% on the calls last week. I made close to 1,000% on the puts yesterday. To see a trade on the same stock, to have that opportunity, and then to be able to play it, right? It's just, that doesn't happen very often. So here it is this morning. SanDisk down to 234. the 225s are probably going to open at $3 or $4 anyway. So yesterday, can it drop another 10, 15%? Maybe it does. I was looking, maybe I get the 215 strikes, but I figured I'd close those out. But great trade yesterday. Here's the thing. It's probably like a great proxy for the market. So I'll be watching Sandus this morning. If it bounces in the morning and goes red to green, and it was actually gapping higher this morning, it might be a sign that, okay, the bottom's somewhat close to being in. So I'll be watching that. And then other names. So, when I got the Sandus puts, I'm looking for other names, risk reward basis to play for downside. ASML, which I played last week for nice bags. Did it again yesterday. The 980 is looking inexpensive on risk reward basis. Got those at 50 cents, and then it keeps going. 920, 1020, 1015. Lots them out for 100, 200, 400%, and I held the rest. And here it is at 992 in the pre-market. Those puts, the 980s, are probably like $6, $7, $8, I would guess, depending on how things swing at the open. I'm going to look to close. I don't have many left. I'm going to close a few right at the open, and I'll hold the rest just in case of some further dip, right? And then last but not least, the Z-scalers. So not a name I've traded much. I might have traded it back in 2022. All the way up to 340 or so, 337. It's dropped second day in a row. Name doesn't have much liquidity on the puts, but then you look at the premiums inexpensive on a risk reward basis, got those 297.50s within an hour, is able to close them out for 100% cover costs. I think it's possibility of dropping under $300 here. It's a 302, actually just hit 384 here in the pre-market. Or maybe that's a fat finger. But I'll lock some more in right at the open, hold those, and then I'll start looking for some flips or some call side, and the frustrating thing about the pull this week is that some of these names, the Solar Edge, the Lemonades, the Rokus, the Reddits, I locked a lot of those in with profits, but they went in monster profits. So we had some follow through, and unfortunately, we're not getting that here today. But not saying opportunity to buy the dip, but if I do see a reversal, obviously I'll be watching Reddit, some of these familiar names that I've traded for upside. And then, maybe towards the 11:30 hour, that's kind of where I think we'd find direction. And we didn't find direction yesterday. Maybe that's where we'll find it here today. And I think that's it. It's 5 minutes to open. Let's have a great day. I'll be back. Rock and roll.